Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Audible, Amazon, T-Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Speaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. In fact, you're not going to hear any headlines either. So if you're looking for them, go away. No, I'm just kidding. If you're looking for them, you've got a plethora of places to tune into those. Instead, I want you to know that here we go to Heartlines, we go to Solution, we go to non-political rhetoric. I do get on my soapbox every once in a while, so I can't say no rhetoric, but it is vitally important to me for the past 706 consecutive weeks and 1,500 plus shows and 4.2 million impressions, but who's counting, that I do maintain this destination for you that you can tune in and feel good and not be 4 A's, angry, afraid, aggravated, and anxious, because life doesn't suck, folks. Life is amazing. That's the A that I want you to blanket all the other A's with. And to that end, I have topics, shows, solutions. I just did 2 interviews before this one on fire safety and also food hacks during the holidays to be more in there and to continue with that wellness theme. I have my very well co-host on Fridays, every other Friday. You know him as the Action Fitness Man or Action Man Fitness. That's all over on social. Hey, I got the words right. I have a great memory. My recall sucks, but I love having him here. He has a plethora of things to say, and he probably is that's all my co-hosts talk a lot, and so that's very fun for someone who's such a shy wallflower host as yours truly. But it's always great to have you, James. Welcome back to Straight Talk with myself and
James Hawthorn. Good morning, everybody.
And a good morning it is. And I've been wanting to do this for a while, which is to stop streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn, because it's just an added, and people should know. Actually, I shouldn't say should. I'm shitting on you already. But this is my YouTube TV channel that houses all 1,500 plus shows. So y'all need to just free subscribe and get your assets over here. So this is the first day by accident that we're only doing it on YouTube, and hopefully everybody finds their way here. So we're going to start with breakfast, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun, things that we're grateful for around us when we look outside, and bottom of the bun, because I like it on the bottom. Even though I haven't been there in a while, it's Friday, I can be a little naughty. The bottom of the bun is looking inwards. What do you like or am grateful for about yourself? Because I believe that good mental health starts with a good sense of self-care, self-love, and self-soothing. So that's what we're doing this morning. Ready for breakfast, James.
I'm grateful that I can still fit in my high school prom tux. I booked a very 22
I thought you were
years
going to
later.
say prom dress.
I booked a very specific gig, I can't say what it is yet, but it requires that I be wearing a tux and need to own one that is already fitted to me because it shoots so quickly. So I'm grateful that I get to go have some fun on set on Monday. And I'm grateful that I still fit in that tux. Otherwise, I would have been out of the running. So that's exciting. And I'm grateful for the parties involved that are allowing that to happen.
And I want to go somewhere with shoot and fit, but I won't because I don't want to get in trouble. Let's see. Great.
Well, the show is early yet. It's early on in the show. I give you about 10 minutes. You'll be there.
Well, let's see. I am grateful for I got to cover the Rodeo Drive Holiday Light thingamajig, and the mayor. I was invited. Beverly Hills mayor. They did a great job, and first time I've ever seen fireworks at a tree lighting. No, the fireworks did not like the tree, but it was very cool. And Santa was there, so I'll be putting a clip up of that today. Go to my Doc Balance social or Dr. Marissa everywhere else. So I'm grateful that I get to do fun things like that.
I am grateful, one, that it's raining and we get to experience, this unusual weather phenomenon in LA. I think it's good for the soul, the spirit. It can be very cleansing. At some point, my dog is due for a whole bunch of vaccines, and because I want to take him to the very best vet, I'm going to take him to his vet in Malibu, and we're going to go have a fun in the rain day. After the poor boy has to get 3 shots, I figure the least I can do for him is let him splash around in the waves on the beach and in the rain. So we're going to go get all kinds of wet together and ruin the inside of my car. So grateful for the rain. And I'm going to go ahead and put my last gratitude right now because it's very related. I'm also grateful that the rain held off just long enough for Team Firehouse, my softball team, to come back from 14-9 down in the final inning to win the game 15-9. And just as the winning run crossed the plate with a swipe tag that missed him by an eyelash, the rain, the clouds, the skies opened up. So it literally held off to the minute of our victory. So game 1 of this season begins with a W. So way to go, Team Firehouse, if any of you are listening.
That's a super cool timing there, because
it really is.
We got that in Beverly Hills on Rodeo too. The rain started, and these really sweet woman beside me saw the microphone and let me get under her umbrella, which was so cute. She was an older woman. She spoke very little English, so that was very nice. I'm grateful for nice people, and grateful that tonight I get to go get VIP seats to a past guest who's also a double gold record winner, Brenda Lee Yeager. If you're not doing anything tonight, Friday, Hudson Theater in Timbuktu, I get to drive up there. She is doing her opening night of Walk My Brother Home, which is a musical that she writes, co-produces, and stars in. So with a great cast. So I'm grateful that I get to go do that today. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? Because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to? James, what do you like about yourself?
I like that I am truly try to be supportive of my friends. So I've seen my friend's movie now probably 4 times, but he's doing one more screening here in LA next Thursday. Me and my roommate, who's also a friend of his, we're going to go racing from our softball game to the theater to watch it. And I'm bringing a few other friends to help him fill the house. And easy enough to do. You just share with your friends, cool things that are going on that would mean the world to them, and invite them to come. And sometimes something that means a lot to somebody is not a very heavy lift. You can really make a big difference sometimes just by being thoughtful. And the little things might be little effort for you, but they might mean a lot to somebody else. And I like that I look for opportunities to be able to do that.
Yes. I'll I forgot the most important gratitude that I will build into my bottom of the bun. My grand dog's son had back surgery yesterday, the Frenchie that everybody loves, that's been on the show in my lap snoring. You've met him, I think, right? On set. Do you
I don't
remember?
believe I don't believe
Oh,
I have. I haven't
oh,
had the pleasure, and I
oh.
love me some Frenchies.
Yeah, he had a $11,000 back surgery yesterday.
Pet
And,
insurance, folks. Pet
uh,
insurance. I have it for my
no,
dog Tux, and man, the peace of
doesn't
mind is
doesn't
priceless.
doesn't cover.
Nope.
So, yeah. So but it was worth it, and, he's doing well. It went well, according to my daughter. She called when, they were on their way to the procedure. And if you haven't had a chance, you got to look at my social from yesterday because anybody that says dogs do not have human emotions, they're wrong. And that video will show you that it's wrong. Uh, and when he was in the car and I was talking to my daughter, I went, Pablo, it's me, Ma. And my daughter said he just like, started mo- over moving, but it's always nice when a dog can recognize you. That's love for sure. So I appreciate that I am lovable. How's
That's
that?
great. That's a great
E-
one.
Even if it's just for dogs.
Speaking of speaking of dogs, I like the relationships because my human relationships when it comes to romance and dating, right? Maybe use a little bit of work. But I'm glad that I've got a great relationship with animals. I love all animals. They really seem to like me, and and they're forgiving when I screw up. My poor puppy. I took him out back just for a quick pee pee, and the door kind of slams shut to the back patio. And when I opened the door, he kind of snuck in there in front of me. But then he heard another dog bark that got him all excited. And he pulled so hard that he pulled my fist right into the door. And the door ended up slamming on his tail, and I almost like died. Like he was screaming bloody murder, and I was mortified. And he pulled the door shut so hard that it locked. So I'm fumbling around for my keys, trying to unlock this door while he's screaming. I thought
Oh
that for sure
my
he broke his tail or
goodness.
something. Luckily, no breaks, just a little laceration on the tail. And as soon as the door opened, he's looking at me, kissing me, licking me, going, "Oh God, that was terrible." It's like he
Oh.
knew that it wasn't my fault, that I wasn't, trying to do anything by it. He knew it was an accident, and he just wanted all the cuddles and snuggles after that, and was just all kissy and licky. And so I like that I have built this bond with my boy Tux, that he knows that everything I do is for love, and even when an accident like that happens, he is still Mr. Love for me, and immediately forgiving and saying, "Let's go forget about that and just cuddle," So I like that I'm able to do that with my dog and with pretty much any animal that I meet.
Oh wow. That hurt me just thinking about it.
Oh, I don't know who was trembling more after that, him or me, because
Oh
it's just like
yeah.
just hearing him in that kind of pain. Oh man, the sounds
Yeah.
coming out of him. I'm like, the neighbors are going to call the cops, thinking I'm.
Yeah.
But he was
Well,
so forgiving, and he, recovered quick because he knew that I had him and that it was okay once that door opened.
that's why I call them unconditional dogs,
Yeah,
because we think we can love unconditionally, but I'm sorry, maybe 88%, but definitely not 100%. The only things in the world, only sentient beings that can love unconditionally are dogs. Not
I think
not
that's true.
cats, but dogs for sure, for sure. Let's see. I appreciate my ability to multitask. I'm doing a story now to get people over here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not ignoring you. And that's it, I think, for a great breakfast this morning before we get into an interesting topic. But thanks for joining us for breakfast. I'm here every weekday morning to have breakfast with you to start your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day.
Yes, we are doing the non-topic today. We're gonna riff. We're gonna be like jazz musicians up here, improvising, riffing off of each other, talking about all things dating, relationships that pop into our mind, and gonna have a little bit of a popcorn free for all and see where it goes. We're having like a day of discovery today, I shall say.
Yes, it's if those of you who remember Seinfeld, he
Yes.
had a show about nothing. One episode or maybe more. So I said to James, it's been one of those days where I'm burning 16 candles, eight jobs at both ends, and I did not. I usually text him in the afternoon. What do you want to talk about? And it went right by. So I said, we're doing a show about nothing.
But hey, I'll tell you what, Seinfeld was a pretty successful show.
About
So if we
nothing.
can keep up, Seinfeld was a pretty successful show. It may have been about nothing, but it was about something.
Oh,
And
that's pretty good.
that's my Jared.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard you do an impression.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty
well,
good.
don't get me started. Otherwise, you're going to ask me to stop doing it. But yeah, yeah. So we're going to try to follow in Seinfeld's footsteps. The irony is terrific because the whole show is about nothing, and then when they pitch a pilot to NBC, they're saying it's a show about nothing, and NBC looks at them like they're absolutely crazy. And I just love comedy that's wrought with irony, and that part of that show, that season or those episodes, I thought were deliciously ironic with that.
Yes. And I just
I'll kick it off with something if you don't mind.
No? I just
So
finished.
I've had some submariners in my life recently. People that someone that just went dark. I haven't seen him in like 2 months, and he texted me out of the blue, almost pretending like the other 4 texts over the last 2 months never happened. And I'm like, interesting. So my response over text was, "Who is this? Who are you?" Question mark, exclamation point. But then I had to give him a little grief for that. So we're texting, we're chatting, but I just know what bucket he falls into, which is not a serious one, because anybody that can't maintain that kind of communication, that's sort of a non-starter for dating, and his situation is complicated. So if we have a little fun along the way, so be it. I just have to make sure that I keep him in the right bucket so as to protect my heart and feelings, and also put it as a low priority so that I can redirect my energies, whether they be for physical fun meetups or real dates. I think all of that stuff can kind of come out of the same energy bucket for you. So I've got to make sure that my cup overfloweth, and that I have enough for the things that I really want, which is dating somebody where there can be a good and productive future. So watch out for those submariners, folks, and be honest with yourself about, one, what you want, and two, how much is in your cup to pursue those things, and make sure that you don't have submariners siphon off that very special energy that it takes to find a special someone. That's my PSA on that little topic tidbit.
We all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. So that, my friends and folks who are watching and listening right now, to take my advice, I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel. Number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And home to the Asian Oprah. I've got yelled at for not doing more station IDs. And of course, I missed the quarter one again, but better late than never. But that, my folks, was James practicing a really good, what we've been talking about for a while, which is we talk about things that are not good, and then we turn towards we use them to change our intentions. So when we know what we don't want, we move to what we do want, and what we do want and what he wants is a man who is not Mr. Right now, but Mr. Right. And in order to do that, he doesn't go to the Mr. Right now and try to make him into a Mr. Right, letting him go. Maybe when he feels like having some fun, that's Mr. Right now. But that is a perfect example of why we talk about the things that we don't want and focus on them for a very short time, not stay on that topic for a complaint for a day or a week or a month, and move towards what we do want. So,
Well, thank you. I'm glad I'm finally learning something from our conversations here on the show. And I say that, tongue in cheek, but it's true. Old habits die hard, and it really takes a lot of intentionality to change your perspective, the way that you look at things that are happening to you. So he ignoring me and then responding happened to me, but then how am I going to happen to the situation to turn it into something that is productive, fruitful, and rewarding for me? And sometimes the answer is nothing. Like if I had a bunch of dates lined up with exciting guys or prospects, I probably wouldn't be quick or eager to return his text. I mean, I don't owe him that since he disappeared for 2 months. I'd be focusing on the prospects that lie ahead. But if I got the time, got the energy, and I'm feeling like it, well, as long as I keep him in, the right
that
place,
bucket.
I can enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not, he's not a bad person.
No.
It's just not a match. Your intentions are just not a match right now.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it.
His situation and the way that he wants to communicate and interact isn't a match. But he's a good person. I do enjoy my time when I'm with him and the conversations we have and things. But I just have to be realistic with it. And as long as I'm realistic, it is an enjoyable situation or scenario.
Yeah. And I, on a very lesser basis, I am practicing that just in the swipe or no swiping is if we match and then I reach out and I ask the question, oh, I figured out a way, James, to say it in a nice way. It was either you or Dr. Tiffany who said the way you're saying it may be a little bit too harsh. I think maybe both of you said that. But what I say is instead of I'm allergic to cats and, the president or whatever, I'll say now, I said, before I get my hopes up too high, I I just want to let you know that I'm allergic to cats and there's a really bad feedback coming in.
Sorry, that was a plane. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I had the door open to experience the rain, but unfortunately, I live in the low rent district right under the Burbank flight path.
Okay.
Give me 10 seconds so that doesn't
Yes.
happen again for our listeners, and I'm just going to close that sliding door. I'll experience my rain noises after the show.
Sounds good. And I will do delay because I really do want him to hear this of what I'm doing now. Let's see if I actually have.
Yes, it was Dr. Tiffany, and then I agreed with her, I believe, on this
Was
point.
it? Okay.
That sometimes the wrapping paper does matter around what's in the box.
Right. I say, and before I start getting my hopes up, I have learned that I have to ask one, if you have a cat because I'm allergic, and two, if you voted this way because I'm also allergic. LOL. And
That's much
that
kinder
feels
and softer, and it
right.
doesn't have like it doesn't have that demanding tone that I think it did before. And no
Yeah.
knock on you. Sometimes I'm about as subtle as a sledgehammer, and I have to watch my delivery with certain people. Certain people have different sensitivities, and it's not being inauthentic, but sometimes to get along with people, I think you have to like look at your personality like a big music switchboard, like you're a DJ or something, and you got to turn some dials up and some down just to get along with people better. And I kind of think that's like the least we can do, to coalesce with our fellow humans.
Yes. And then if they don't respond in a week or 5 days, I unmatch. And the reason why is, if, like, and I'm not a good, like, I will respond in 5 days. Like, I may not respond right away. My, cup is over full, but I will respond, right? In 5 days or less. So if you're not responding in 5 days, then the timing's not right. And I can't let that go, because one of the things that I know about myself is I am I don't have the P word. And if I text you, right, and I'm asking you a question, if you don't get back to me before end of day, uh, it's bye-bye, right? Because that was a specific question. It doesn't take 2 seconds to say driving, or let me get back to you, or swamp today. You know, that to me is something that I really value, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look,
yeah,
patience might be a incredible attribute, but hey, part of loving yourself is knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. And while you may choose to work to be more patient in certain areas, it's totally
no,
fine to be like, yeah, I mean, that's fine too, to say, you know what, I value it, and I'm not going to extend, people a 50-foot leash. I expect certain things in return. I mean, that's part of loving yourself,
yeah.
knowing what attributes you have in abundance and which you don't have and don't really care to have more of. And I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I've been doing a publisher's clearinghouse now on a regular basis, and just taking off of so it doesn't get like a long list of people you're waiting for them to respond.
Right.
It's like, and again, they're not bad, right? It's not personal. They're not in a place right now where, they can, and that's data, right? I would like communication, just like you and Dr. Tiffany are always talking about communication. So yeah. So there's my 8 cents worth on that topic.
There's another piece to that I want to unpack, and it's hope. Hope is a beautiful and powerful thing, but if you place it in the wrong things, it can lead to heartache. Hope can be this like fuel that inspires you, powers you to make leaps and bounds of progress in your life. But if you put your hope in the wrong things, I think it can be heartbreak. Whether it's expecting somebody that you love and care about to change, hoping that seems like a wasted effort or energy. And to have a bunch of hope for things that are entirely outside of your control, such as if and when people are going to respond to you, it's nice to take back a little control and direct your hope towards things that have like a higher return on, investment. I
Yeah.
mean, it would be like, investing your money in, technology from the 1980s. Like, I really think CDs are making a comeback, so I'm going to put some money in. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that you want to hope for. So I think hope is sometimes about putting it towards things that could be a miracle or miraculous. But I also think being realistic with your hope is a good practice to, employ it at different
Yeah.
times.
That's why it's all about balance, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes it calls for more, but the percent chance, like how likely is this actually going to happen, is a good question. And
Yeah.
I say hope springs eternal, but does your spring have a leak in it?
Yeah, that's right. I
Or
mean, hey,
don't
pray
go to
for
the
miracles.
tractor for milk. I
Say
think
that.
what don't go to the tractor for milk.
Right.
If you're going to someone who's never, ever, 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 ever been able to be compassionate, and you still go to them and tell them, you're having a bad day, and you need someone, you're not a chronic complainer or a chronic victim, mind you, but it's just a bad day, and you just want someone to, you know, put your head on their shoulder, but they don't have a shoulder, like they're all knees, sharp knees and elbows. That's on you, boo, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I say pray for miracles, but hope for things that, maybe are a little more realistic, or that you do have some control over, you know?
Yeah. Again, balance. My dad used to say, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
That's
But
sound advice.
no, but the way that he there was no real hope. Like his hope was 1% and prepare for
Mm.
the worst was 99%. So he lived in worst case scenario. That was his MO. And it killed him. You know, it's of my BS, my belief system, that when you're chronically worried or chronically stressed, and it's actually not a BS, there's all kinds of empirical evidence now that if you're a worry wart, or if you're worst case scenario, or you're constantly looking for things to complain about or to be angry about, that will cause chronic illness. And my dad, passed from lymphoma. And I know, I'm not saying he wanted to die that way, or he, ordered up lymphoma, but I do believe that stress and chronic stress, the studies show it will lead to chronic illness. So we can do more than what we think we can do. And if you're always preparing for the worst, I got to ask you, does it feel good? Because your body wants to feel good. Your body's cellular structure is incredibly efficient when we're in that high energy place. When we're constantly depressed, our cells do not function well together.
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, it's all about balance. You said he was 1% hope, 99% prepare for the worst. And it is important, I think, to expect the best, live in a vibe of hope. But you always want to have your ducks in a row as well. So you don't want to dwell on that and be thinking about those negative what ifs. But it's nice to be prepared. I still believe that there's something to be said for expect the best, live in a place of expectancy and hope. But plan, at least have a plan, and you don't have to dwell on it or think about it. Just make sure that you're covered. I mean, they say that for your finances, for just about, anything. But what you put your attention on, once you've made that plan and made your preparations, what you put your attention on is everything. Because that I really believe is what you, right, attract. That's what you bring into your life.
What you focus on grows bigger. Law of attraction, not personal, just like gravity, is going to happen whether you believe it or not. And
Yeah.
with that, let's go to our break. Don't go away. We have to stop for news, weather, traffic, and a word from our sponsor. So let's see. Keep it tuned here. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery on the other side. I'm going to call it peace in and peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Hi, everybody. Earlier on today, I was talking about fitting into my high school prom tux. So I want to help you keep new clothes, a new wardrobe off your Christmas shopping list. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound to cure, and the holidays are upon us. Did you know that with just 3 hours a week of physical activity, moderate to intense physical activity, guided by a professional, and through proper nutrition counseling, you can completely change your health and wellness? And I help clients do this without fitness fads or short-term solutions, but easily implementable lifestyle changes. So if you want to take back control and have a holiday full of hope for your health and wellness, please reach out to me at Action Man Fitness on Instagram. Mention that you're coming from the Asian Oprah, and you get to spend an hour with me on the house, and we'll get you a plan that is implementable, sustainable, maintainable, and fun. So thank you all, and let's get started.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe and give me the finger, this one, not the other one, you will get access to all 1,500 plus shows over the past 706 consecutive weeks. That's over 13 years. And they said I wouldn't last a year. So glad they were wrong. And you'll also get my red carpet playlist, interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, the late and great Quincy Jones. Did I tell you I met Quincy's daughter at the event that you were so kind to get me into? And that she was not surprised that her father flirted with me in Chinese and told me I was 你很漂亮, which is you're beautiful, like twice. And then Samuel Jackson's wife, LaTanya, overheard and said, oh, that I'm not surprised. And apparently I'm not the only one he called beautiful, but he's told other people they had a certain body part that was beautiful. Mine was just a general beautiful. So I was happy about that. But so glad that you're here for
for nothing. We're doing a show about
wait,
nothing.
Wait. No. But the series. You're here for my Friday popular series called Straight Talk with myself and
James Hawthorn. Greetings from Mars, everyone. We were talking about getting along with our fellow humans.
I was going to ask you about
greetings
that.
from Mars for those that are listening and not watching. I was talking earlier about getting along with our fellow humans, and I think it might be fun to put the moose on the table a little bit. So I feel like I'm pretty good at getting along with just about everybody, but there's getting along and really liking and enjoying other people. And sometimes just because you can get along doesn't necessarily mean that that person's a match or good in your life. And one thing I wanted to kind of throw out there and ask you about, and also share about candidly myself, or what are certain like headbutting points, qualities in our fellow humans that kind of repeatedly pop up as leading to maybe conflict or not? And then how do we turn that into something positive? Because sometimes getting along with the fellow humans is difficult. If you've ever driven in LA traffic, you know what I'm talking about. But beyond that, in the dating realm.
Great question, because I wanted to remember to actually relay this, and so the segue is perfect. Thank you. I love people a lot when I first meet them. It's after the first conversation that I have I give people the bod, which is the benefit of the doubt, right? But as you converse, especially when you're matching with people on swipe or no swiping, dating HD, as I call it, hope, disappointment, not high definition, very low definition. I had a phone call that we started talking, and how long have you been on whatever it is, Bumble, Hinge, Match, whatever, and Facebook dating. I ran out of, by the way, on Bumble and Hinge, like I literally will have like 3 possibilities a day, and then it says, that's it for that. There's no more to choose from. You may want to consider adjusting your filters. Like literally 3 to 4 every day. Cause I made it a practice to, if I really want to do this, I got to do this every day. So there's nothing. So then I went to Facebook dating because somebody told me that that's where it's at. And I now have run out of everybody who likes me. So, but I did, when you do match and they're also allergic to cats and the one that I'm allergic to. And then we moved to a phone call, right? And I literally had this guy on the phone who said, uh, how long have you been on? Da, da, da. How have you been? Well, this woman, she asked me on the first date. He's never been married, no kids. She said, "Do you want to have kids?" Right? And I can't believe she asked me that. First date, and that's not something you asked on a first date. And I went, you know, I think it's one of those deal breaker kind of things. And, time is your most valuable commodity. It's non-renewable. And, I would cut her a little slack and, that I actually don't think that was unreasonable. Wow. Da, 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 da. And I suggested one more time gently and and so I said, well, I didn't say it was nice talking to her. I said, well, I have to go, but I do know that we're not a match. And he's like, what? And I went, well, it's, because you don't have the capacity to even possibly consider another way of looking at something. And you know what his response was? Drum
Hit
roll,
me.
drum roll. Well, now I know why you're single.
That's so petty.
I was like, wow. Hang up. Wow, that's the pot calling the kettle black. I was quite, yeah. So, talk about something that irritates me is people who are so self unaware, and they go to the insulting, same thing. I've gotten several who have said, when before I used to not ask, what your political leanings or your, cat or whatever. And once that's established, I've had them say, well, you're a moron.
Name calling as an adult is just, it's wild to me. I'm going to put the moose on the table and look at this. I'm going to unpack this from both points of view and see what we agree and disagree on here. I
And for
totally
those people who
understand.
don't know what that means, because I had someone ask me, Dr. Marissa, why do you say moose on the table? So I say moose on the table because.
Well, it's the Canadian version of like the elephant in the room. You're gonna call it for what it is. Call
And
it
I
out.
was born in Canada, in case you didn't know. All right, proceed.
Yes. So knowing you, I know exactly why you're asking that, because you don't want to waste time if it's not a match, if it's incompatible. So totally get that. It makes all the sense in the world. You don't want to have kids. And if a partner really does, and you guys are 2, 3 months down the line and it comes up, that's kind of a deal breaker. And then that's 2 or 3 months where you could have been, investing your time and energies and hope, as we talked about earlier, into other people that could be a match. Makes all the sense in the world. And then going back to what we talked about earlier, though, there's the wrapping paper around it. I understand his point of view that, okay, that's a very, like, aren't we getting ahead of ourselves? We just met, we're just talking. So from his point of view, I can understand why maybe he feels that way. So I think it comes back to what we talked about earlier with the wrapping paper and the prefacing. Just saying, hey, I know this, like almost acknowledging the point and saying, I know this question might seem a little bit early to ask, but I'm going to ask it because, my time is so precious to me. I'm involved in all these things which I love, and I want to make sure that when I'm dating, it's a good fit. Now, normally, over prefacing things, it can sometimes feel like we're making excuses or apologizing for ourselves, but it can also be a way to get somebody prepared to receive a question that might feel out of left field to them. So simply prefacing it more might have him go, oh, yeah, oh, wow, I am surprised to hear you ask me that, but I understand why you're asking. And maybe it wouldn't have triggered him, but the way, obviously the fact that he got so triggered by that, it seems like a totally disproportionate reaction. So yes, I agree with you, but sometimes the wrapping, can be helpful.
Yeah, but that wasn't the reason why I said it wasn't a match for me. Was the angry,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stick to my BS, my belief systems, and not have one iota of the possibility that, oh, there might be another explanation for that. That is something that I want in a guy, right? And he didn't have it. So I wanted to vent that out. And now I'm going to practice what I teach, which is always annoying, is not talk about that anymore and that experience, and turn to, yeah, I want a guy who has that ability to, you know, um, stand back from his stance. So that is a trigger for me when someone is that uh cemented in a BS belief system that there's absolutely no movement, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Also, in your support of asking that question, just because someone gets caught off guard by a question doesn't mean that they have to go off the deep end and become immediately defensive or reactive or judgmental as to why you're asking it. So that question saved you a lot of time because it was a revealing question. It gave that individual a platform to reveal all of his insecurities, his character flaws, his quickness to anger. I mean, it really saved you a lot of time. And not just because, of his answer, how he answered the kids thing is immaterial here. It's what the question did to him and how he
Mhm.
chose to behave after that. That was so
Mhm.
revealing. So,
Yes.
in support of you, sometimes asking questions that maybe catch someone off guard or might seem like they're out of left field given the amount of time you've spent talking can be a very productive tool just to see how people respond when they are taken aback or caught off guard. And
Mhm.
his response was kind of Looney Tunes. So
Yeah. Yeah. And to answer your question about what are those, button pushers or triggers, uh it has really hit me that having not a video chat first, but having a phone conversation first, because I have a tendency to pick with my eyes. And if I see you on video and I'm not immediately attracted to you, I think that's a flaw for me because my track record picking with my eyes has cost me a lot of money. So I'm learning from that and having a phone conversation. The other couple things that I realized, one is, do they understand your sense of humor? They can be funny and have a sense of humor, but if it's not a match with yours, and if I have to explain a joke that I just made, I know that there's not a match. That's one, right? Also, if they're always interrupting me, then I also know that that's not a match. Also, when they say, now here's the one I want your opinion on. They say, I don't know why you're on here. I've Googled you or I know of you. Like, why are you, on a dating app? You should have no problem meeting, men that want to take you out. Or, you have to be a fake profile because I can't understand why someone like you, influencer, public figure, or whatever the term is, why are you here? How would you answer that?
um Honestly, I mean, I would say, and this also prepares them for some of the questions that you might ask. You just say, look, I have a lot of non-negotiables. I mean, I have, had, I value certain things very deeply, and I don't want to waste, make it about them. I don't want to, I want to be considerate of your time. I don't want to waste your time if I know it's not going anywhere. And I certainly don't want to waste mine. And, I had a husband, and now that I'm, single, I very clearly see and know the things that I want in a partner, and so finding a match, at times has proven difficult. I would just flat out, I mean, be honest, and I think that honesty gives that it makes you seem vulnerable, which is sexy, and it allows them, an opportunity to go, wow, okay, she's brave, she's self-aware, she's, I think those are all good qualities.
But his point, and this has happened more than once, which is why I'm asking you, their point of someone like you who's
Right.
out there already and very, you know, accomplished, successful. Why are you swiping? Why are you on a dating app?
I mean, this is always something you can answer, but I know that when you're at events and you're often there in a professional capacity working. And I mean, if that rings true, I would just say, look, even though I'm going to all these things and events, I'm often there working, and doing my work to help spread happiness through my literature, through the courses I teach, through hosting a red carpet. And, sometimes my attention and energy, I'm not able to devote it to really having that one-on-one time. So, in a way, the swiping gives me a space where I can truly focus on, just that.
Mm-hmm. And that is what I usually say. But ones that have pushed on that, they're saying it's not that you like you're not at the level you should be. If you're gonna be available, you should be going to a matchmaker. Why are you swiping?
Mm.
Because you're at a different caliber. They're putting me on a pedestal. So how can I diffuse that?
How should you view that? I mean,
No,
I would
diffuse that. Diffuse that. Because
diffuse that.
yeah, one thing I wanted to try out was I I'm looking for someone who is as accomplished as you see that or as you think that I am, who's not afraid to approach because they have that sense of self-worth. See, this is why I'm asking you. Like, there's just no good way to answer that question.
I mean, there's also that thing. How somebody sees you is none of your business. So if they want to put you on that pedestal at first, I mean, I guess you kind of have to give them the space to see you as they see you. But I would remind them, look, there's also dating apps called like Raya, The League, that you have to meet a lot of requirements just to be on it. And so they have to approve you can be on it. So I would just say, look, the apps, it's not. Swiping isn't necessarily a caliber or class thing. There's apps for everybody, and it's just a way that allows me to meet and introduce a lot of people when I can be fully focused on it. And wow, I'm so flattered that you think I'm, so great. But why don't we get to know each other and you get to know who I really am, not just how successful you perceive me to be.
Now I'm going to disappoint you. I've never heard of those apps. And I like the fact that they have requirements. So
They're
I'm
out
going to
there.
go look at that. I had no idea. So maybe I don't belong.
If they're seeing you, on this pedestal, then go be on it, and those apps give you a means to do it. Hey, we're getting towards the end, so I don't want to necessarily jump off into my own kind of topic on this, but I want to float this out there for a future show topic. And when I talked about greetings from Mars, getting along with the fellow humans, very quick, just kind of a teaser for maybe our next show, is there was a time when I was very focused on the specific goal of having a boyfriend, finding a partner. Now I'm at a place where I just want good company with somebody that I'm compatible with, and let's just see where it goes. And then in the back of my mind, it's I feel ready. and I welcome and I am open to and embrace a relationship. So it's a less like hands-on trying to squeeze the soap too hard in the in the shower to have it pop out of your hands. The sour bar. Dating is a very sour self-serve salad bar. No.
I
When you
thought you
squeeze
said
the soap too hard, it
salad,
pops out of your
salad
hand.
bar.
And that's the posture that I used to have when it came to seeking that boyfriend, that relationship, thinking that I needed it. I'm getting older. So it was for all the wrong reasons. Now I'm saying I welcome it. I'm arms wide open. I attract it. But here's the rub. Throughout all of it in LA, I always seem to attract people that end up saying something like, I don't want anything serious. I don't want anything committed. I'm coming out of a committed thing and don't feel like I can do that right now. And no matter what I have tried to change in my posture and mentality and approach, I seem to keep attracting that same thing. So on a future show, I will
Great
make
topic.
I will
Great
make
topic.
myself a guinea pig. And I know you've done a lot of work with your big brother, Michael Beckwith, on, the law of attraction, not the material kind, but the energy. And I'd like to maybe do a deeper dive into that. I will put myself on the operating table as the guinea pig. I am both the guinea pig and the moose. And let's apply some of those principles and maybe see what our audience can glean from it, what I can learn about myself and my approach. Because, hey, one of the benefits of this show, the perks, is that at times it's like a little bit of therapy almost, accidentally, just by putting it out there, chatting, getting your feedback, hearing what our cashew gallery has to say about things. So I would like to blend the law of attraction with my seeming inability to find people that are ready for the same thing I am, which is something serious. I almost feel like saying, I don't mean serious. It's not serious. It's let's not call it serious. It's just someone that wants something mature, committed, monogamous, and lovely, intimate and loving.
Mm-hmm. Great. You will be my moose on the table in 2 weeks for
Yes.
what will be a good. I mean, I used to do this too on the show and do like actual call in happiness coaching. People asked me to do it again. So, we'll start with you. And just to little correction, the law of attraction work that I do is actually from Abraham Hicks. I love my big brother. He is, my foundation around a lot of things, but the law of attraction work is actually from Abraham Hicks, who is the purest kind. So we can definitely do that. And I have a lot of things already that I want to be able to float on you, but we can't do it in the last minute. So my final word is that I love that we can talk about these things. Thank you, James, for being vulnerable with yourself. And I thank myself also for living out loud, and that we can talk about real things in an effort to be the model of what not to do, maybe, and also what to do to make your life happy 88% of the time, especially with respect to dating and relationships. That's my final word. Yours?
My shirt says greetings from Mars. I'm going to sign off from Mars and say, hey, even when you feel like it's tough getting along with the fellow earthlings and humans, be kind to one another, give people the benefit of the doubt, live with an open heart, and just see what comes from that. That's going to be my final word of advice.
Thank you. Fingers up. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. James, take it out.
Now go and have the best wet weekend ever.
I'll see you guys Monday.